This is the final discussion of the War of 1996, as we will be going through the final stages of the war that took place on July 4th, 1996. First, we went through the arrival and the attack on major cities. Then we went through the aftermath, how the cities were left in ruins, and now we go through a battle. And as I mentioned, we're going to go through key points of the attack, and this is the final discussion, and I'll be covering up what has happened 20 years after the battle, which means the cities that were left in ruins have been rebuilt. So, we go through a briefing by President Whitmore at Area 51, where there's people crowded up at the station where planes are on ground. And he's giving a speech toward the aircraft men about how they will survive and live on and celebrate the 4th of July and save the country from despair and ruining. Then we go through an aerial attack. F-18 planes have shot missiles to the alien spacecraft, which is the City Destroyer, causing a reaction from aliens to go from their stations and battle other people. President Whitmore, along with other guys as well as Russell Case, are involved in this counterattack. Now, as I mentioned, the missiles were shot at the spacecraft, which is the City Destroyer, and there's no shield on it because David Levinson disabled it with the virus. A computer virus. So, and there's been reactions from people as the aliens are shooting green lasers at cars, causing people to run away from them, which is causing a big reaction to children, men and women that are on ground, as well as Julius Levinson. Also, the City Destroyer hovers above the base, opening its primary weapon over Area 51, as they're about to fire its weapon on top of that building. But President Whitmore runs out of missiles, but we see a brave man attempt to do something very, very, very dangerous, but also brave, to save many people's lives from getting killed in Area 51. So we see a laser beam shoot out of the weapon, causing mass power flickers on the building. And it's the same City Destroyer that destroyed the US Bank Tower, Empire State Building, and White House, causing a fiery hurricane. But before the aliens could destroy it, Russell Case, even though his missile was jammed because it wouldn't fire, he decided to risk his life, go fly into the alien spacecraft, the City Destroyer basically, turn his nose of the plane up on the primary weapon and crash into it, causing a destruction of the City Destroyer, which is revenge by humanity after what has happened to 3 major cities in America. And we see fire coming from the alien spacecraft as it is about to be toast. What has happened is that many people in major cities died or survived but were dying. And we saved everybody from danger by aliens. we see fire coming out of the alien spacecraft's exterior, which is an act of revenge for destroying 3 major landmarks in America. These include the U.S. Bank Tower, the Empire State Building, and the White House, as I mentioned. But those cities are also Los Angeles, New York, and Washington. But after what Russell Case did to the alien spacecraft, saved the whole planet from extinction. We see men in planes landing as they are celebrating the victory of their aerial battle against the aliens. They are going inside Area 51 to reunite with their families, and that includes President Whitmore reuniting with his daughter, Patricia. And he reunites with his pals, even General Gray, Constance Spano, Jasmine, and Julius. Even Dylan, too. And David and Stephen crash land as they have nuked the mothership. "20 years after the war, every single American major landmark that has been wiped away by aliens were rebuilt from the ground up. And that's the U.S. Bank Tower that was once wiped away and has now been rebuilt. Every building that was annihilated by fire has now been rebuilt as well. The Empire State Building in New York City, of course, has been rebuilt, and many other buildings have been rebuilt as well. Unfortunately for the Twin Towers, which is the World Trade Center, has been demolished after what had happened to them. Now, even though there's a building being built, or I think has been built, it is the 9/11 Memorial Building in Manhattan. But everything else has been rebuilt from the ashes. The White House, the Washington Monument, and the Capitol Hill were rebuilt after the destruction in the war. And because of this, pieces of the fragments were kept, and they're stored in a museum. And because of this, all of these buildings, besides the White House, the Capitol Hill, and the Monument, were also rebuilt. And that includes the National Mall, the Air and Space Museum, the Smithsonian Museum, the National Archives, and the Lincoln Memorial. That's all I have today, folks. After the many things we went over in the War of 1996. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please write them down in the comment section below.